Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Vetlek. Today the topic of our discussion is anatomy of scapula of dog. Scapula is a flat bone which is roughly triangular in shape. It has two surfaces, one is the lateral surface and other one is the medial surface. It has three borders, one is the cranial border, a caudal border and third one is the dorsal border. Cranial border is sharp and thin and it is convex proximally and distally it is concave. On the other hand, the caudal border is comparatively thicker and it is straight. The third border, which is dorsal border, is also thicker and it contains scapular cartilage. But in case of the scapula of dog, the scapular cartilage is not much prominent. So this is the site for the attachment of scapular cartilage. Here scapular cartilage is present. Scapula has three angles. One is the cranial angle which is present between the cranial border and dorsal border. Second angle is the caudal angle which is present between the dorsal border and caudal border. And third one is the ventral angle which is present at the distal aspect of scapula. Here ventral angle is present. At the lateral surface of the scapula, there is a projection which is called spine, and this spine ends in a beak-like projection which is called acromion process. And this acromion process is present at the distal aspect of the scapula. So as the spine moves distally, it ends at a beak-like projection which is called acromion process. This spine divides the lateral surface of the scapula into two unequal foci. One is called supraspinatus fossa and other is called infraspinatus fossa. So cranial to the scapular spine, supraspinous fossa is present, and caudally to the scapular spine, infraspinous fossa is present. If we talk about the muscular attachments of the scapular spine, then deltoideus muscle originates from the scapular spine, while omotransversalis muscle and trapezius muscle have insertions on this scapular spine. If we talk about the muscular attachments of the fossa of the lateral surface of scapula, then supraspinous fossa contains origin for supraspinatus muscle. So supraspinatus muscle originates from the supraspinous fossa, while infraspinatus muscle originates from the infraspinous fossa. If we move at the medial surface of the scapula, then at the proximally we see a roughly rectangular structure which is called serrated face of scapula. So this is serrated face of scapula, and it contains insertion for serratus ventralis muscle. So serratus ventralis muscle has insertion on this serrated face. Here we have subscapular fossa just distal to the serrated face, and this subscapular fossa contains origin for subscapularis muscle. So subscapularis muscle originates from the subscapular fossa, while serratus ventralis muscle has insertion on this serrated face of scapula at the medial surface of scapula. Now, if we talk about the distal aspect of scapula, then distally, first of all, we see a prominent constricted portion which is called neck of scapula. So here neck of scapula is present. Here we have neck of scapula. Then just cranial to the acromion process, there is a tubercle which is called supraglenoid tubercle. But before discussing the supraglenoid tubercle, we'll first discuss the glenoid cavity which is present at the distal aspect of scapula. So this is the glenoid cavity, and this glenoid cavity actually helps in it actually forms articulation with the head of humerus, and therefore it forms shoulder joint and is called scapulohumeral joint. So scapulohumeral joint is formed between the glenoid cavity of scapula and the head of humerus bone of animal. So these both form shoulder joint. We were talking about the tubercles of the distal aspect of scapula. So just cranial to the acromion process, there is a supraglenoid tubercle, and as we move medially to this supraglenoid tubercle, there is a process which is called coracoid process. So coracoid process is present just medial to the supraglenoid tubercle. If we see the coracoid process, then here we have coracoid process at the medial surface of at the medial aspect of scapula. So at the lateral surface, at the lateral side, just cranial to the acromion process is the supraglenoid tubercle, and just medial to the supraglenoid tubercle there is coracoid process. From the supraglenoid tubercle, there originates bicep brachii muscle, while from the coracoid process, there originates coracobrachialis muscle. So coracobrachialis muscle has origin on the coracoid process, while bicep brachii muscle has origin on the supraglenoid tubercle. At the at the caudal aspect of the acromion process, caudally to the acromion process, there is infraglenoid tubercle, and at the infraglenoid tubercle there is origin for teres minor muscle. So teres minor muscle originates from the infraglenoid tubercle. If we talk about the muscular attachments of caudal border, then we see that at the caudal border, two types of muscles originate. One is the long head of tricep muscle, and other one is the teres major muscle. Teres major muscle and long head of tricep muscle originate from the caudal border of the scapula, while from the infraglenoid tubercle there originates teres minor muscle. Similarly, at the dorsal border of scapula, there is insertion for rhomboideus muscle. So this dorsal border of the scapula contains insertion for rhomboideus muscle, and it also contains scapular cartilage. So this was all about the scapula, anatomy of scapula of dog. Thank you.